So I swam through school mostly, did okay. Got to uni, did okay. And it wasn't until I tried to get a job after university was probably the first time that I thought, oh, this is not necessarily going to be as easy as I expected it to be. I think I would tell my younger self one of the most important things you can have is resilience. I think the other thing I tell myself is the thing that you think you want, you will get, but not necessarily in the way that you had it pictured.
When you don't have to plan, you don't have any expectations. So then it's all of this planning now that means that you think, oh my God, I should be doing this. Or like, there's also then the judgments around that of like, oh my God, she's doing so much with her life. That person's doing so much with, like, I've got to do that. And then you've got Facebook that tells you that this person's doing that. And all of that creates this like societal like worry and like feeling of inadequacy. And I think then people want to push themselves more. And I think it's more about people being able to feel comfortable with what it is that they're doing and feel secure with what they're doing, and that what they are and what they're doing is enough, and not to want to fulfill other people's expectations. Like I think that's the advice that I would want to give.
In fact, I don't know whether I had any notion of what my life might be like, because when you finished your education and your further education, you were in the forces then. And from there on, you didn't really know whether you would come back or not. Fortunately for me, war finished before, well, they heard I was coming, so they surrendered.
Not quite.
But what did I think I was going to do afterwards? I didn't have a great idea.
It didn't come to us till we were older, that stress.
And I think once you start to have responsibilities like a house and a family, then you had to plan more. How on earth am I going to afford to keep all these things?
But we married younger, you see.
But
and
it didn't put pressure on us when we were younger.
But well, it was something you couldn't really contemplate.
Our pressures came from wanting a house, somewhere to live, because housing was very, very scarce.
I think the important thing is continue doing what you love doing, which might not always be what the job is or what's bringing in the money. So, if you're interested in making films or photography, obviously try and get a job in that field, but you might not get in you might get in a related field, but keep doing the films that you want to make and the photography, even if that's on the side. So yeah, keep doing your stuff. It's quite easy to sort of, you start doing something else and that brings in the money, and then you stop doing what you really love because that pays the bills. So yeah, it's, I guess, keep doing what your main driver is.
I think as a teenager, even into your early 20s, you tend to think a lot about what's going to happen to you, and it's, as you get older, one of the things that I think more people think about is their impact on others. Well, definitely for me, that's the big difference, I would say, is that I was more self-centred, whereas now I think if I achieve things, I want it to be for other people.
So I think it's a lot about like people's identities now as well, and actually how like work becomes your identity, and then that's like when people meet you, they then ask, oh, so what are you doing now? They don't ask about, your name or your family or your background or things like that. It's always about who you are, and I think that then creates a lot of pressure as to what we feel. And like I remember, actually, maybe this might have been it, but like I was unemployed for I think it turned out to be 9 months once, and I absolutely hated it. Like, it was the worst time of my life because I was like, oh my God, I just don't know who I am. I don't know, what I can say to people. I don't want to go into social situations because I haven't got anything to say. And your self-worth and your self-confidence just gets knocked massively. And I think we need to be able to find that happiness within ourselves first.
I think definitely the more you sort of grow up and you sort of see things, my appreciation of life changes. So I'm actually enjoy the everyday. Obviously when you get older and when you have children and things like that, you actually start to appreciate sort of simpler things as well. So which I think is important. Sometimes when we're so focused with our work and there's so many things to do that actually you need to take time to appreciate friends and family and sort of things around you.
Well, like I said, it was kind of I had an image of myself in a white shirt and tie with a briefcase and a semi-detached house. And like I said, I just thought I'd reach a point of adulthood and that would be it in terms of my development. And actually, it's more complicated than that. And I think having lived through it, it's there's more kind of continuity between your young self and your old self than I thought there would be.
I think also explore. So don't always feel like you need to know exactly where you're going in your life, and explore different, I've been a hairdresser, I've done a fashion degree, I've been a cleaner, all of these things that have helped me, each of them is a skill that I've learned. And that's another one actually, is to know that everything that you do, you learn from. And even I've been in some horrendous jobs, and all it's helped me now to think when I've got my own business is, okay, I know how I don't want to do this because I've learned it from that experience. So learn that everything is an experience and that it's all valuable, and not to have regrets.